The world of handmade business can be tough when trying to monetize what you love. We've got truth bombs and motivation to help you find your way through. Passion to profit, let's start today, 'cause the world needs what you create. Tune in right now, it's your shot to learn how to be a handmade boss.
You stumbled onto this because it is the beginning of the year, or it's fast approaching, and you are thinking, right, now is my time to reset. Now is my time to sort my ish out and make sure that I'm giving myself the best possible chance of knowing what my goals are and actually achieving them. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you and showing you, if you're watching on the YouTube version of this, what my key secret weapon, I'm doing air quotes here, is, and this is dream boarding. If you've been with me for a while, you will know that I've kind of casually mentioned my dream board and how dream boards work and all that kind of stuff throughout my various episodes of this, lives, all those kinds of things. But honestly, I really want to do a deep dive into this amazing tool because, quite frankly, I've achieved probably 85 to 90% of all the things that I have put on my dream board. So it's not a tool to be taken lightly, because if I said to you, you are going to achieve 90% of all your goals that you write down, you probably would set the time aside to actually do this, listen to this, watch this, and actually go ahead and do this for yourself. So today we are going to be going over why to do this, why you should have a dream board. Do they actually work? And we're going to be digging into a little bit of the psychology behind why they work and why it will work for you. We're going to be talking about what you will need to actually do this for yourself. And YouTube users, if you are going to be watching the video version of this, and hey, if you're listening on the podcast version and you're thinking, I want to see Steph's dream board, I want to see how she does it, then listen to this by all means, and then hop on over to YouTube, because I'm actually going to be sharing with you a video of me actually doing my dream board. I'm going to be walking you through mine and giving you some hacks and tips and tricks and all that good stuff. So if you want some extra goodness, go and watch the YouTube version of this. But if you're already watching the YouTube version of this, well done, you're in the right place. I'm also going to be walking you through how to map out everything that you need in order to make this work. And also the last little aspect of this is going to be talking about all the things that you need to actually make this thing work. Because yes, we're not just making a pretty picture, we are making a goal getting tool, and there is a list of things that you need to do after you have created it. So first, let's talk about why we need to bother to do a dream board. Okay, well, whether you do or don't believe in manifesting, it's really irrelevant, because you either come at it from the more like psychological standpoint, or you come at it from like the woo-woo place, and you can come at it from two mixed places as well. What I mean by this is, even if you're not woo but you're more science, there is basis for both of those things in dream boarding. Okay, so a lot of people will say it is like the manifesting tool that everybody needs. Like when you have a visual representation of your goals, you are going to do everything to manifest it and it's going to come true. Right? Now, again, whether you do or don't believe in that, and I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong, I must say I have seen this work and like proof of this actually working for me. So, I'm kind of thinking, hey, if it doesn't work, you've not lost anything. But if it does work, you've gained a whole bunch. Basically, what dream boarding does is that it enables you to put a visual alongside a thought, a word, an image in your brain. So let me ask you this. When you think about my goals, do you think of a word? Do you see a word? Do you hear an audio? Do you see an image, like a movie playing out? Everyone's brains works a little bit differently, but our brains cannot tell the difference between an imagined experience and one that has actually happened. And, this is something that I can demonstrate for you now. All right. So if you're driving, obviously do not do this, pull over or wait until later. But I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine a lemon. Okay. Now I want you to see the lemon. I want you to imagine holding it in your right hand. I want you to imagine running your nail across the surface of the lemon. It doesn't matter if you have long nails, short nails, just run your nail across the entire surface of that lemon. What do you feel? Is it pitted? Is it smooth? Is it cool to the touch, or is it warm? Now, I want you to slightly squeeze that lemon. Okay, what does it feel like? Is it hard? Is it overripe? What does it feel like? Now, I want you to imagine grabbing your other hand and pulling that lemon apart. Okay, and I want you to imagine, what does that feel like? Is it dry? Are there juices running down your hand? Okay. What does the whole process feel like? Can you squeeze those two halves of the lemon in your hands right now? If you've just done that, what you've experienced is a visualization. However, you can probably taste the lemon. You can probably smell the lemon. You are probably maybe salivating a little bit because you're like, lemon. And that is basically a big way to prove that this stuff actually works, because all I've done is made you visualize a lemon really strongly. You don't actually have one. You were never actually holding one. There isn't one anywhere near you, or if there is, then good for you. I love lemons, but there was never a lemon there, but you imagined it so hard that your brain was convinced that there was one there. And this basically forms the basis of the entire reason as to why we do this. So it really activates the RAS of your brain, which you might have heard of if you're into manifesting and all that kind of stuff. But basically what it is it's a reticular activating system within your brain. And this basically acts as a kind of filter. And it basically filters all of the outside world's stimulation. You know, we have brightness, we have darkness, we have noises, we have smells, we have tastes, we have feelings. You know, you probably right now are sat down, okay, or you might be walking. At all times, can you feel the shoes on your feet? Can you feel the laces banging against your trainers? Can you feel every stride? Can you feel where you're sat right now? Can you feel your seat? Can you feel the cushion of that seat? Can you feel where your back is? Is it warm? Is it cold? You're not feeling all of these things all of the time, because it would be really overwhelming for our brains. Okay, so the RAS, basically what it does is that when you're kind of running on autopilot, it's shutting down other things that you need to know about, that you need to see. So it's focusing on just that thing. An example of this is, hey, if you've just bought a yellow Kia, guess what you're going to be seeing on the road for the next 2 months? Yellow Kias. It's not that there are more yellow Kias about, it's just that your RAS is filtering out every other kind of car because you are focused on your brand new yellow Kia. So that is kind of how it basically works from a manifesting psychological point of view. And I must say, like, I'm being completely honest, is that, like I said right at the beginning of this, everything that I've put on my dream board, 80 to 90% of it, I have achieved. Yes, there are always going to be some things that you haven't quite got there yet. Or maybe halfway through the year, you've kind of decided that's not really for me anymore, and that's okay. It also, another great reason to do this is it helps you stay organized. And it sounds bizarre because it's a picture at the end of the day. But what it does do is every single day, it keeps you focused on your goals, because one of your pieces of homework after this is every single day, you are going to be looking at this board. And what it kind of does is that when you are looking at it, it's firing up your RAS. So what it's going to do is all of your other tasks on your list, hey, if it's not getting you towards those goals, your brain is going to go, nah, I'm not going to deal with this. Like, this is not a thing that's getting me towards my goals right now. Another thing that it does is it motivates and inspires you, because you're looking at something that is bespokely made for you. And that is really special. It's also going to clarify a lot of things for you, because let's be honest, quite a lot of the time we will put a goal or multiple goals on our list, and hey, halfway through the year, we realize we're not going to get there. We don't really want that thing. I know I've done this. Like, I've changed my dream boards 2-3 times this year. Wouldn't recommend doing that. But certainly when you're kind of going through a pivot, or you're going through something where you're not really sure where you're going to end up. It can be really hard to keep changing the goalposts. And that's very, very easy when it's on a list, it's put away, it's forgotten about. But when it's on a dream board in front of you every single day, it clarifies for you what you do and don't want. Because guess what? Even if the things that are on your dream board are not things that you want anymore, you can take them off. And one way or another, you're going to know whether that thing is for you or not anymore. It's also going to boost your mood as well, because let's be honest, when we have a banging dream board, we're looking at that and thinking, yes, this is what I'm doing it for. This is what all the late parcels are for, spam emails are for. This is why I'm going through all of this stuff right now. And the last thing is you are seeing the possibilities behind the everyday. So we've talked about why dream boards work. We've also talked about why we need to do this. So now let's talk about actually doing the thing. So what you are going to need, first of all, is to decide whether you want to do this digitally or whether you want to do it in person. Now, I would really recommend doing an in-person version. I know these days we're all about digital and we do this and we do that all online. But a dream board is something that you want to physically look at every single day. And also, I think that you really want to solidify this whole process in your mind. So I think the best way to do it is to actually do it the old-fashioned way. Get out a A3 or A2 poster board. You can buy them on Amazon. You can go to your local hobby shop. They're really cheap. They're like under £10. And some glue or some blue tack. I actually like to use both. So I like to use blue tack to like move things around and kind of collage it out, and then I will like actually glue it in. You also need some pictures and some scissors and any other things that you want to put on there. It doesn't matter if you want to throw some glitter on there, you want to put some stickers on there, you want to cut out some magazine pictures, like you do whatever you want to make this look fab. If you are an artist, you could paint your dream board. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But all you need is something to put everything onto, and obviously get your images and all that good stuff as well. Now, if you are going to be doing this in a digital way, I would recommend using Canva or using Pinterest. I'd actually say if you're going to do it in a digital way, I'd say use Canva and set it as your phone background and your desktop background, because that way we know you're going to be seeing it every single day. Okay, now let's talk about mapping out exactly what we want on this dream board. So when we are mapping out what pictures we want, what we actually need, we need to kind of like unravel all of this. Okay, we need to go back to the beginning. So what I actually do is I use a wheel of life. I'm going to pop one on screen right now. You can take a screenshot of this, whatever you want to do. And it basically splits your life into sections. And this just makes it so easy, because it's really overwhelming when someone goes, sort your life out, and you're like, oh my God, I've got so many aspects of my life. Like, what do I do first? The Wheel of Life is just a really cool way of like going through all of the sections and kind of scoring yourself for each. There is spirituality, money and finance, career and growth, health and fitness, fun and recreation, family and friends, personal development and partners, and love. Now, feel free to add any more sections. If you have anything else that you want to add, feel free to. Basically, what we need is a list of life areas for us to go into and think about when we're thinking of, hey, what's my goal for this? So once I've got my Wheel of Life sections, I then kind of score myself out of 10 for each. Kind of a good way to start the ball rolling in, okay, what area of my life do I need to double down on the most? Because, hey, if your fun and relationships is at a 10, but your career and growth is kind of looking like a 2 or a 3, then you know that perhaps you're already doing a 10 out of 10 job, the fun part of your life. But when it comes to the other area, you're probably not doing as good of a job as perhaps you really ideally would like to. So this is where having scores for each of these is a really good tool to use. Once I've got my scores, I then know which ones I have to look at first. So what I do is I get a journal, and I actually have like a digital notebook that I use now. So rather than like pen and paper, but hey, pen and paper is great, I actually kind of go onto my digital notebook and I'm like, okay, I'm going to open this. I have a Kobo Libra color, which is actually an e-reader, but it's a much cheaper version of having a digital notebook with a pen that you can take notes with. So if in case anyone wants to like get one, I'll leave a link below for it. But yeah, it's really, really cool. So what I do is I go onto this and I literally, all of the life sections I've just scored myself for, I will put headings, okay? And then I will journal about what I want to see in 12 months in each area of this. Now, this is especially prudent if you are doing a 12-month dream board, which I imagine probably 99% of you watching, listening to this right now are going to be doing. But you can also make dream boards for 6 months, for 1 month. I tried once having a 12-month and a 1 month. I found it a bit overwhelming every month having to do this process all over again. So I'd recommend to start off with doing a 12-month one. But you basically want to journal what you would like to see in each of the Wheel of Life areas in the next 12 months. Okay. Now, I actually split these up into physical, visual representations and feelings. So when I'm kind of doing my journaling, I'm like, okay, so in regards to career and business, how do I want to feel? And what do I want to see manifest in that area? And it's kind of a nice way to think about the two main experiences of a 10 out of 10 in that particular area. So for example, I might want to see £50,000 in my bank account. All right, that's not actually one of mine, but hey, it might be, who knows? And that's what I will write down. I'll say, I would like to see £50,000 in my bank account. Hey bosses, I am interrupting your episode because if you struggle with social media, I have something free for you to attend that's going to help you. So between the 13th to the 17th of January 2024, I am hosting a marketing critique week. So Monday to Friday, every single day at 1 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be going live to critique some of your marketing channels. Okay. So I've popped the link for that and it is a Google form. You simply fill that out and I will go live on Instagram and in the Facebook group and possibly critique your marketing platforms, your channels, whatever. Okay. Now, not only that, we are also going to be celebrating the opening of our Handmade Bosses social media sidekick, or SMS for short. Now, this is going to be a membership that gives you your social media specifically for handmade business owners done for you each and every month. It's super, super easy to use. It's a very calm and serene way to do social media that is effective, but also doesn't leave you questioning everything. It is scroll stopping content. It's applicable month to month. It is totally beginner friendly. And as a matter of fact, we actually do have a beginner guide to social media within there. And it's also going to enable you to get consistent, post on the regular, nurture your customers and build your social media following. So if that sounds good and it's literally less than a fancy Starbucks hot chocolate every single week, to join the waitlist for SMS, all you need to do is go to handmadebosses.com/SMS waitlist, all one word, handmadebosses.com/SMS waitlist. The link for that will be in the show notes below. Now also join us for the Marketing Critique Week coming up as well. Don't forget, 13th to the 17th of January, be there or be square, boss. And then the next bullet point, because I do like bullet point this when I journal these out, is I'll say I want to feel financially secure. So you're coming at it from two different angles, what you want to see and what you want to feel. Now, this just makes that layer extra deep when you're looking at this, because having a whole load of pretty pictures is lovely, but it's a very surface level way of viewing your goals. Yes, we all want a nice Mercedes and we all want 50K in the bank, sure. But what will that mean to us when we achieve those things? That is the important thing. So once I've done that for all of the life areas, so you have your scores, you have your life areas mapped out, you've journaled what you want to feel and what you physically want to see out of all of these. what is the next step? It's the fun part. It's finding your pictures. So I use a combination of Google Images. I'll go into Canva and I'll type out words, like a word of the year, a sentence of the year, quotes, affirmations. Like, it doesn't have to just be physical pictures. And another really cool tool that I use is I actually use an AI image generator. And basically what I do is I'll upload a picture of my face and I'll find a picture online. Like, let's say I want a pair of pajamas. Like, I really want to manifest having a really nice sleeping routine, which, newsflash, this is actually on my dream board. And again, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, you are going to see this very, very shortly. And all I did was that I basically got AI to put my face into a picture of a woman wearing really nice jammies. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. So you can actually use AI tools and you can just Google this. Like, there's loads of them out there. Some of them have like maximum 2 images a day, but you can go through like 5 or 6 of them and then you get your pictures that you want anyway, right? So don't kind of limit yourself to just, printing out a picture of a car or a bike or whatever. Like, actually kind of dig into words, phrases, sounds, feelings, and obviously the physical manifestations of that thing that you want to get a 10 out of 10 in. So once you have found your pictures, I used to print these out myself. So I used to thought I was like epic for having an A3 printer, and I would put an A3 piece of card in there and I would print it out and I'd be like, yes, professional level to the max. I used to think I was like, awesome, chef's kiss. But what happened was that printer inks fade big time. So I'd have it up on my wall and in like 2 months, it would be all like kind of fadey and just not really looking its best. So now what I do is I actually go to either Snapfish or I'll go to Free Prints, and you can get like 50 photo prints for like £2, £3, under $5. And that's what I do. I'll just get them to like print photos. I'm doing air quotes here, of my pictures, and then that will be my dream board pictures. And hey, it means that they're nice quality. It means that they're not going to fade. It also means that if you want to move them about, they're not thin paper, they're not going to tear. It's literally like the 6x4 photo prints that you used to have in like the early noughties. But it's just a nice way to do this because it means that everything is high quality, and you really want this dream board to be nice because you're going to be looking at it multiple times a day, every single day. So if you're watching the YouTube version, I'm now going to take you to a clip of me actually doing my dream board. I'm going to be walking you through the process, how I do it. You're going to actually see my dream board. I'm going to walk you through it. If you're listening to the podcast, we are going to be going straight into tips to make your vision board actually work. This is the to-do list of things that you need to do after you've made your dream board to actually make sure the damn thing works for you. Okay, now let's go into tips to make your dream board actually work. Okay, so these are things that you have to do regularly. Now, in my opinion, every day is the best way to do this, and I do this and it does work. But if you're away or, something like that, there are ways around it. Of course, you can take a little picture of your dream board on your phone and look at that every day, but whatever, you do you. So you need to look at your dream board every single day. So what I tend to do is right before I start work, I will kind of sit with it and I will look at it. Not just a quick glance, but I'll actually look at every single picture that I have. And I'll be like, okay, what does this feel like? What does this mean to me? And then I'll move on to the next one. What does this feel like? What does this mean to me? And depending on how you think, you might think in audio, you might think in pictures, you might think in feelings. Like, lots of people think in lots of different ways. So it might be that you look at something and, you'll look at a picture of going to Venice and you'll smell Venice or you'll taste Italian food. Everyone thinks a little bit differently and they think in different ways. So when you're looking at your dream board, I really want you to lean into that. How can you experience that particular picture and be very intentional about it? If you have words, or affirmations or sentences or something on your dream board, which, as you can imagine, I recommend you do. I want you to read these out loud to yourself. Now, affirmations is like a whole other video, but a quick few tips is that you have to write them in the present tense. So rather than saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, you should be writing it in the present tense, because as we know, our brains cannot distinguish from a real experience and one that we've imagined. So we want to imagine that we've achieved that thing, right? So writing it in the present tense. So rather than, like I said, I want to lose 10 pounds, this is, I feel 10 pounds lighter and it feels amazing, right? They're two different ways of wording the same goal, okay? So read those things out loud, whether they're quotes, inspirational words, your word of the year, affirmations, whatever they are, every single day when you're looking at your dream board, I want you to read those out loud to yourself. I want you to set a 2-minute timer on your phone after you've done this, and I want you to sit quietly with your eyes closed for 2 minutes. And I want you to imagine that everything on this dream board has come true. I want you to imagine an average day, okay? So maybe think of the day of the morning that you've just had, or the evening, or the day, whenever you're doing this, and think about how that would be different if you achieved all of those goals. So you need to visualize you having all of these things, because again, that makes it all the more real to our brain. So what would it feel like? What would it taste like? What would it smell like? Really dig into what it would feel like to have all of these things ticked off and done. Once your 2-minute timer has gone off, I want you to really layer into yourself that you believe this is possible for you. Okay. Now, this is tricky because a lot of us, you know, we have these things on our dream boards, but we're kind of thinking, how am I going to actually achieve that? I don't believe I'm going to actually get there yet. And that's okay. The more you do this, the more you practice, one day you're going to settle in, your 2-minute timer is going to go off and you're going to go, wow, I actually was in there for a second. I actually believed that it was possible for me. And that is a big, big thing. And again, this can sidespin into other videos in and of themselves, but you need to believe that this is possible for you. So whatever you need to do to believe that you can do it, do it. If it's a business financial goal, get into Facebook groups where people have already achieved that. Surround yourself by the things, by the people that have already got there and are already living that reality. If it's a house that you want to buy, go for a walk around the neighborhood. Have a look on Google Maps, like immerse yourself in that thing. So anything that you can do to just make sure that when you're imagining it, you are believing it. And when you come out of the visualization, your 2-minute timer goes off, I want you to actually be like, yes, I can do it. And I will do it, because that is absolute key. You have dreamed these things up. Therefore, it's possible for you. Because if you didn't know that it was a possibility, your brain wouldn't have known to produce that image, to produce that goal, to score yourself where you scored yourself in that life section. So why think about this thing and then dismiss it and say, no, I'm never going to do that? I know right now, and believe me, I've just done my dream board. Okay, you've just seen me do it. And there are things on there that I don't believe that are going to happen right now, and I've just done it. And I know that over time, the more I do this, the more I'm going to really check into, yes, other people have done this. I'm going to go and look at them. Other people have done this, so it's possible for me too. Whatever you need to do to put yourself in the situation that would render your brain thinking, yes, this is possible for me. And the last thing I want you to do on your dailies is I want you to just think or write down 3 things that you are grateful for in your life right now. We know that when you are feeling grateful, everything is vibing a lot higher. Okay. And I used to think this was such BS. I used to be like, okay, I'll go and do my gratitudes and it'll all be lovely. And yes. And after I did it consistently for 30 days, I did notice that things were different. And it was like, for example, when something would happen, like, for example, my dog would knock her water bowl over first thing in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. I've just stumbled out of bed and the dog is excitable and I'm like, okay. And then she knocks her water bowl over, all over the wall, the skirting, the floor, everything. Now, that used to be like the thing that would set my morning off and therefore my day off at a really bad pace. And I'd be like, oh, why did you do this? But the more you do this every single day, you're like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. The more you're actually tapping into the calmness of knowing that you already have a shed ton of blessings in your everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're living, who you are, what kind of business you have, what kind of job you have, whether you have kids or not, whether you have a partner or not, whether you have all the things you want yet or not. It doesn't matter. We all have blessings, at least 3 a day, right? We all have things that we can be grateful for. And if you're tempted to skip this, really don't. Like, I promise you, do it consistently. Do all these things consistently for 30 days and you will notice a difference. Because honestly, like, now I'm a lot calmer. Yes, I still lose my rag. Of course I do. Like, I'm human, just like you are. But honestly, leaning into being grateful for things has just led me on to becoming a much higher vibe person. And that in turn has helped me and enabled me to feel more confident to achieve all these things that are on my dream board. The power of it is literally referenced by psychological journals over and over and over again. If you want proof of this, Google it. Like, psychological proof of a gratitude practice. Just type that in and I promise you, you'll go down a rabbit hole and you'll see how amazing this is. But these are things to do every single day, literally at the end of viewing your dream board. And let's be real, these are all practices and things that have spiraled off of creating a dream board. This whole practice is the thing that is going to enable you to reach your goals. You know, it's really powerful stuff and it is not something to skip. So please do all these things every single day. So guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed this long podcast, this long video. I really hope that it has been helpful for you to see what I do, the practice that I do. And hey, I would love for you, if you're watching on YouTube, to leave a comment down below. Tell me, what was the thing that wowed you the most? And if you're listening on the podcast, I want you to DM me a picture of your dream board. Like, I want to actually see you guys putting this into practice because, hey, I've been open and shared my dream board, which can be a little bit embarrassing at times, but hey, I did it and I want to see yours too. But for now, my loves, thank you so much for consuming this, wherever you're watching / listening, and I will catch you in the next one. Happy New Year! Bye, everybody! Thank you so much for tuning in to How to Be a Handmade Boss. And if you're eager to boost your Etsy sales within just 7 days, then be sure to join my most popular free training at handmadebosses.com/conversion. You can also find the link in the show notes as well. Keep an eye out for our next episode where we'll be continuing our journey towards handmade business success together. And until then, keep crafting and stay inspired because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.